go ahead and turn myself up like that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my desktop audio down a bit. And there we are. Okay, so this is just going to be watching my world record run of Madagascar 2 at 8%. And that is pretty much what this is going to be a tutorial for, is Madagascar 2. It's not going to be about all the other categories, but I will touch on those categories a bit. Because I did kind of want to... I should bring this down. I did kind of want to touch on those stuff. But anyways, so let's go ahead and get this started, shall we? So here, I went ahead and already created a save file, so I just started up that save file. And so time starts whenever you hit begin story here. And so it's gonna be time starts about here. And immediately off the bat, when you hit begin story, you have a cutscene that you have to skip immediately. So you're gonna see it. Actually, you didn't see it pop up there, but basically it's a cutscene that spawns in immediately, not even a loading screen in between. So you gotta mash the A button immediately off the bat when you hit begin story there. But then once you get past that cutscene, you're gonna enter the loading screen here for in Madagascar, the first tutorial level. And this first section is gonna be about collecting butterflies. So basically, we run over here, we grab the net right there, and then we just gotta collect the butterflies. I missed right there, and I hit Julian, and you gotta hit Y again. If you net Julian accidentally, you gotta get him out of your net in order to catch butterflies. So I go ahead and get him out of there immediately, and then I just start grabbing the butterflies. I will admit, this run was not very optimized at all. There were a lot of mistakes in this run, but that's alright. If I get the chance, I'll definitely go back and try to refine it as best as I can. But anyways, you just want to go and collect the butterflies as fast as possible. And then once you collect all the butterflies, it's basically just a little while before you can move on to the next activity. You have a cutscene, skip that. And then we just go through this pathway here. We jump a lot because it's the fastest movement. It's slightly faster, and sometimes whenever you land on the ground, you get like this weird sliding that can happen sometimes. It's completely RNG whether or not you get that sliding, but sometimes it can be helpful. Sometimes it can actually be hurtful if you're not careful and you don't react to it carefully. But most of the time, it shouldn't hurt you. It should only somewhat help you. Anyways, here we gotta use our double jump to grab that coin in the air there. Pretty simple. Here we gotta run over to Marty. This will trigger a cutscene. This will also trigger a minigame after you skip the cutscene, so you want to mash the A button. Don't hold the direction on the control stick. If you hold the direction on the control stick, Marty will start turning a bit before this loads, and then he'll have a wrong angle when you start off. Instead, you just want to let go of the control stick and mash the A button or the jump button. So that way it actually charges a jump, and then you can use that to gain some movement speed. Because jumping is a slight bit faster than moving on the ground. Here we're gonna just jump a lot until we get up to here. And then we're gonna start sprinting. I kind of hit a wall back here, so that kind of forced me to stop sprinting. Yeah, I hit that rock right there, so that kind of forced me to stop sprinting for a bit, so I had to let go of the X button, press it again. And it takes a little while. It's not like you can just immediately press the X button and start sprinting again after you stop. It actually has a time limit to it. It has like 1 or 2 seconds to it before, maybe 1 second before you're allowed to keep doing it. But anyways, you go ahead and get back to sprinting. We basically just sprint the rest of the way here because that's the fastest. You might jump up hills, but other than that, it's not really the absolute fastest. Here, as you see, you can just kind of slide along the ground like that. That's cool looking. You stop sprinting right here, and you jump to the right to get through those 2 checkpoints as quick as possible. That's important, because otherwise you might just end up going pretty slowly on that part. And then you just sprint the rest of the way. I kind of messed up my carrot there, because I ended up losing some sprint, but that's alright. I even got off a bit, as you see. I kind of messed up my angle spit here. So, again, not the best run. But anyways, I get back on track, jump to get that carrot, and then just run the rest of the way. You can jump as well. And yeah, pretty simple. So here, you're just basically kicking these balloons as Marty. You hold either the A button or the X button. Doesn't really matter. It says X, but you can hold A as well. In fact, I usually hold A just because it's better for me. But basically, you want to hit them as fast as possible. So as you saw there, I kind of was aiming for that left balloon, and I held that bar pretty high. As you see, there's a bar there. It lets you know how much charge you have. And that also lets you know about how high it's going to go. So yeah, as you see, that one went pretty high. This one doesn't go as high. That one goes higher. And then there's this bonus balloon that gives you a coin. You want to hit that as soon as possible as well. And then, that was pretty good. And then finally, you want to just get all these balloons as fast as possible. If you start getting really good at this game, like you saw right there, you can actually just go ahead and kick them up as soon as they start coming down and then hit them. So yeah, that's something you can do as well. Although, if you're going to start running this game, I would recommend waiting until they've fallen down entirely and then start kicking at them and then practicing the kicking minigames over and over again until eventually you've gotten good enough to them to where you can pretty much aim at anything, really. So, but otherwise, yeah. As you see, I even miss sometimes. As you saw, I missed one right there. I went under it, as you see, because their hit, and then I went over it. Their hitboxes are weird, so, yeah, see. It looked like it was going to go under again, that time it hit, so. Now, here, he says kick the bonus balloon. We don't care whether or not we get the bonus balloon. If you do, then that's style points, to be honest. But we just kick it as soon as possible and then get out of there as soon as possible. Now, what we're doing is we're back as Alex, and we're going to hop over here. We're going to use this rock formation to jump in a certain way onto that little platform right there. As you see, we just got to kind of hop on that little ledge right there, and then we gotta hop onto the bigger rock. And I was pausing because I was like, wait, did I do stuff right? And I had invert off, so I was like, crap, I need it on. I was like, did I put it later on in the run? Yeah. Here we learn how to roar, and we gotta get rid of these birds who are trying to steal Julian's rocks. And they're really just eggs, but Julian claims that they're his and that they're rocks, so. Either way, we just gotta roar at the birds and get rid of them as fast as possible. Basically, just walk up to the front of the circle right there. Hey, Tada, how's it going? Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. But anyways, once you get rid of all the birds, then that's it. Then you ride down the zip vine here. You just jump onto it, and I didn't jump off as soon as possible. I don't know if it's faster to jump off as soon as possible or not. I would have to test that, and that's just another thing to add to the list of things I need to test. So here we're Gloria now, and we're basically swimming through these checkpoints. Now, I need to mention, you don't have to go through the middle of these checkpoints here. You can touch the outside of the checkpoints, and it will count. So basically, we take advantage of that during the corners. We try to take the corners as high as possible, just touching the checkpoints. with our hitbox as lightly as possible to take the turn as quick as possible. There I kind of messed up. I went not as tight as I could have. I maybe was trying to play it safe, but I think next time I might try to play it a bit more aggressively. I don't know. We'll see what happens after that. And then you just basically go around, and then basically you want to go to the right, as you see, because you need to go up this little hill right here, and you're gonna see there's a boulder in your way. Trigger a cutscene. Sometimes your camera after you skip that cutscene can be weird. Heck, it might even not have to do with anything about skipping the cutscene. So sometimes your camera might just be weird there. If it is, make sure that you're paying attention there, and that you're making sure that your camera is good to go. Because if not, then you're gonna end up. Because normally it's supposed to face the pepper there, so you can just hold up and go into it, and then start the pepper chain up the hill. But sometimes it ends up like this, where it's angled at a different way, and so you have to kind of be paying attention to that. So as you see there, I make sure that I'm holding a different direction, so that I'm hitting into the pepper, and then proceed as normal, basically. I've had times where, because of the angle, I've ended up in the water again, so I had to swim around. So I had to swim around this way to come back up and go up here. So that sucks. Don't do that. Try to be careful. Other than that, though, this is pretty self-explanatory. Grab the pepper. She'll run faster and she can bust the boulder here. Then you just go forward. Enter the water, but don't dive under yet. He's gonna say to dive, it says here to dive, but don't dive yet. Being above the surface level, or being on the surface level, is faster than diving when you're swimming, because you can swim fast, as you see, by holding A. Once you get to up against this, then you want to dive, as you see, and then go pretty much in a straight line to the other side there. It looks like it's it looks like it's just a cave with nothing in it, but it's really just a loading zone to the next area, so don't let that fool you if you see that. Then you go back to the surface as soon as possible when you enter the next loading area. Or, excuse me, not when you enter the next loading area. When you enter the next area right here, you go ahead and swim back up to the surface as soon as possible. So basically just hold down. And then you just swim towards this diving board over here. And what we gotta do here is we gotta reach a certain height. And so we do things a certain way. I believe what DVP does is he does 80%, 60%, and then just 1% or 2%. I've not gotten good enough to where I can do that specifically, but I try my best here anyways. I get 80, and then 70, and then I did 12%. I was just wanting to be safe there. I maybe could have done 2%, but if you don't get enough height, you're forced to do that again. And really the optimum is to get the exact amount of height you need, so that way you fall as soon as possible, but you also continue on, obviously. But, of course, if you're new to this game, don't worry about that. Just worry about getting the enough height to complete this. And then you can start learning how to optimize it. I did flips there. It doesn't matter if you do flips there or not, but I would recommend practicing flipping because we're going to use it at a certain point later on. And they score you, that stuff doesn't matter, just smash A, basically. And here, Julian wants you to follow him to the right. He wants you to follow him to the right. Instead, we're going to go to the left. I don't know whether or not it's entirely faster, but I've done it multiple times. It might be a slight bit faster. Somebody would have to compare times there. But anyways, now we're playing as Melman. Melman has the ability to glide, and so we're going to use that to our advantage to rescue these lemurs who have gotten themselves tied up in balloons. So basically you use this glide by hitting the jump button twice in midair. You want to jump and hit the jump button again as soon as possible so that you start gliding. Hold forward to start heading towards the balloons, and then just pop the balloons. It's pretty easy, actually. This time you don't have to hit the bonus balloons. In fact, don't hit the bonus balloons, because if you aim for the bonus balloons, it's going to throw you off course, and so it's going to make you slower. Just keep aiming at the regular balloons that you have to pop. If this were 100%, you would have to aim for that stuff, but this isn't 100%. And I should probably mention the difference between the two categories, or the three categories that we have. So, 80% is just beating the game as soon as possible. All monkeys, we're going to get into monkeys later, but all monkeys means you gotta collect all the monkeys in the game. And finally, 100% is getting every single objective done, every single monkey, every single level complete, every single coin collected. Basically, you're just doing everything in the game. Alright. Finally. When you land here, you have the ability to hit the X button, I think, to spin. Yeah, I think it's the X button. So, I go ahead and head to the left here a little bit, because I can just do that. I don't know if that's faster or not. It might not be, but you know, it could be faster. We'd have to test it out. But otherwise, you just head down in the middle or something, and then you start this minigame up. Does it say second kicking minigame? This minigame involves you kicking soccer balls into the goal right there. And the goal, the goal is guarded by Alex. It's like you're playing soccer. So basically, you gotta aim it right so that he doesn't catch it. Now, Alex actually has a very high jump the first time you kick a ball. So more than likely, he's gonna catch the ball if you just sit there without angling it and kick it even as high as it can go. In fact, if you kick it as high as it can go, it might actually hit this top thing here and bounce off. So it's not like that's worth it anyways. It's still redo. So basically what we do is we move in a certain way and then we angle ourselves so that way the ball goes in and he has to do this little jump right here. So that way he doesn't catch it as easily. Now if he still catches it, it's okay. You no longer have to worry about angling it. I don't think, because he'll just I think it spawns you with an angle towards the goal, and Alex will no longer have that higher jump. Now, when you angle yourself like this and you get the goal, you're gonna notice that we're not pointing straight at the goal. So if you think, okay, well now we just need to do something like that again. No, you need to be careful because you're not pointing towards the goal anymore. In fact, since you saw there that we were at a certain angle, we can just hold left pretty much the entire time. And then shoot it, and then get it. Think it right, yeah. Next one is right, maybe left next time? Yeah, left again. That was probably lucky. I feel like that should have been caught by Alex, but I guess it wasn't. So that's good. And then last one, you need 5, so... And then here we're playing a soccer game with Julian and his team and his goalie Marty, or excuse me, not Marty, Mort. So yeah, this soccer game, it can be done very quickly. I kind of messed it up here on this first point. You need 3 points to beat it. But basically, yeah, I kind of messed it up a bit. And then I kind of set it back. But basically, you're going to see here, what we do is we run to the ball as soon as possible by sprinting, by holding the Y button to sprint. You'll see the carrot above our head, that's our sprint meter. Then once we get the ball, you hold down until Julia can't really catch you anymore, and then you hold left again, and then you run to the goal, hold the kick button to prepare your kick, and then kick the ball into the goal. Mort doesn't jump very high, so it only needs to be aimed a decent... Or it only needs a decent amount of meter before he won't be able to catch it and you'll be able to shoot it. And yeah, you basically do that 3 times and that's the soccer game. Again, I messed it up the first time. Could be more optimized, but that's fine. So that's in Madagascar. Now we're in the second tutorial level. Prepare to launch. Did this game take long to learn? Well, I mean, if you played this game as a kid, I wouldn't say it would take very long to learn, because it just takes some time to learn the more advanced stuff. If you never played this game before, though, then you definitely need to play it casually through at least one time before you try to learn this stuff, because there are also going to be some harder tricks and skips later on that if you haven't played the game at all before, you're going to be like, okay, what the heck am I doing wrong? So, if you haven't played the game before, play it casually first, and then try to learn this stuff. If not, then you can go ahead and start learning the game's tricks and skips and such. And if you feel like this tutorial isn't really explained as well as you would think it would, then you can DM me on Discord, and I can help specify a lot of things that I've noticed from the game. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and keep going. So this is Prepare to Launch, the second tutorial level. Here, we learn how to head bash and spin. We already used a spin before to go faster with Melman, but of course this game also kind of features the ability to hit stuff with it. This first phase features you using the head bash to exterminate these moles. They're carrying our parts for the ship. I kind of use the spin to travel fast back and forth between the boxes. But be careful, if you hit them with the spin, they'll just get launched upward and or they'll just get knocked back and be like, there has no effect on it, so. So now we're going ahead and using the spin. This one is just basically you spin back and forth between the boxes. Pretty easy. Oh, and by the way, don't worry about any moles coming out of this bottom box here. For whatever reason, they don't come out of there at all. In any version of the game. So don't worry about them coming out of this box right here. They won't come out of that box. It's only the first two boxes, that one and that one, they need to worry about. We kind of step away from the boxes because it lures them out. If you go towards them, they won't come out and it will be harder to hit them. So you want to kind of come out, like out a little bit out here, so that they start coming out and then go after them. It also allows you to react to where they're coming out of, because obviously where they're coming out of is random, RNG. So you also have to react to that stuff anyways. But then when that phase is done, now you have to do both the spin and the head bash. There will be both kinds of moles. The ones with the boxes on their heads are the ones you need to head bash. The ones that are rolling the barrels along the ground are the ones you need to spin. Otherwise, yeah, this is self-explanatory. I'm actually gonna go ahead and skip. It's basically just the same stuff we just did, except it involves both. There we go. Once you complete all of that, we're back to Gloria, and we learn how to butt bounce with her. So, Gloria has the ability to ground pound, basically, by hitting the jump button in midair. So, with that, we're going to close these suitcases with her butt bounce. And these suitcases can be very awkward. Their hitboxes are weird. Sometimes you'll be directly on top of the suitcase and you won't shut it when you butt bounce on it. But then, as you see here, I'm not on the suitcase. Well, actually, I didn't close it right there. But I'm not completely on the suitcase there, and I shut the suitcase there. So basically, it's just a weird thing with their hitboxes. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to. I would say the best place is just directly next to the suitcase. Like, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. And be careful not to be on the very top of this, so like right here, along this line, right here. that more likely won't shut it. Because it tends to be more up the suitcase top that you don't shut it. But anyways. Yeah, see right there, it didn't close, even though I was directly on top of it. So I had to kind of adjust myself and be like, okay, close it now, thank you. Now we're here, we have 4 more suitcases. These ones, however, require you to tumble. We used tumbling a bit before, but not really a lot in depth as much. Here we use the tumble to get these suitcases in a better angle for us to butt bounce them and close them. And you gotta be careful because you have to make sure that you're angled properly, because Gloria's turning can be kind of stiff. And so the first time you play this game and you try to turn really quickly and tumble towards a suitcase, you're more than likely gonna miss it. So you want to take this part somewhat slow when beginning, and you want to make sure that you are angled properly towards the suitcase. In fact, I actually miss what a suitcase is here in a bit. As you'll see, I just completely overshot it. So I have to go back, I have to tumble into it, and then I have to butt bounce it. So, yeah, even I made that mistake. So here we're back to Marty doing another kicking minigame. This one doesn't require you to angle in any way, shape, or form, so do not hit left or right, otherwise it might mess you up a bit. But basically here, we're just kicking these suitcases that we just closed onto this conveyor belt here. This conveyor belt will bring the suitcases up to the plane, basically. So what we gotta do is, you basically want to kick them into the lower shaft, I guess, here. You want to kick them into this here. So basically you just hold the kick button a little bit, kick them as low as possible. But make sure they're not too low, because otherwise they'll hit the ground, or they'll hit like this thing right here. And you don't want that. You want them to be in this thing. So basically you just want to hit them at the right angle. And me being the idiot I am, I missed that suitcase. Man, I really need to go back and optimize this run. But once you get 10 suitcases in, it's going to start up round 2. And oh my goodness, round 2 is different. It closed up the middle one. Oh my goodness. But the bottom one is still open, so he's still kicking into that thing. So, skip. Oh yeah, I should also mention, there are other differences though. For one thing, this conveyor belt here is slightly faster, so the suitcases get to faster, as well as there are other items besides suitcases. You have durians, you have molds, and you have tires, and maybe something else, but those are the 3 I can think of. If it's not a suitcase, don't kick it into this thing, because otherwise you're going to lose a point here, and you have to get an extra one, basically. So. And yes, that also is RNG, whether or not you get a suitcase. And then this round actually is different now. This round, as opposed to only closing up one of them, actually starts off with the top one and the bottom one closed off. So instead, what happens is it shifts between the 3 of them. I think it starts middle, goes bottom, and then it might go high after this. Okay, no, it goes bottom. So it goes middle, bottom, high, and then goes back to middle and starts the pattern over again. It does about three items on this conveyor belt, and obviously the conveyor belt here is also a bit faster than it was in the previous round. It takes about 3 items to pass by on this conveyor belt before it switches, and I forgot that. So I basically kicked it to the middle, but I realized, wait, no, it's supposed to switch to bottom. So I tried to let it go as soon as possible, but it was barely off the mark. But basically that's the 3rd item, so now it's going to change to the bottom. And see, I barely just missed it. And I think it may take 5 or 6 items after that for it to switch to high, and the rest of the time after that. Basically, you want to charge your meter up high for this high one, obviously. Now, you have to actually react a bit differently whenever you have to charge it for the high one, because the high one requires you to charge it basically right when the stuff is coming out. And I kind of tried to read it switching, but I didn't. Oh well. But basically, I'm going to go back to the high one. But basically, you want to start charging it as soon as you can. As you see, we're kind of trying to charge it up right before it shows up. Or right when it shows up, I guess. You can charge it right before it shows up. I think it'll still hit inside the top one. But basically, you gotta react to things by make sure if it's not a suitcase, you hold your kick and then let it go whenever it's past and you can't kick it anymore. Again, tried to read the middle one, but need just one more, and there we go. So now we're up to the plane, which isn't a new level, it's just the second part of Fix the Plane. So here we're gonna be following this rivet trail. We don't really need to collect the rivets themselves. You can. But basically we're just gonna try and follow this path as fast as possible. Jump up there, jump on the zip vine, jump off. Jump as far as possible onto the zip vine, jump off. Jump in a certain way here so that you don't have to grab the ledge. That can be kind of hard as a first-time player. Basically, there's a slight incline right there, and obviously inclines are going to be used to gain yourself momentum upwards when you jump. So we'll go over that a little bit later, but basically we take advantage of that here so that we don't grab a ledge. And here, there's a specific corner here where you can jump up there without having to grab the ledge. But frankly, it's pretty difficult. I haven't been able to get it yet. And also, in my opinion, it's better to just keep going straight and grab the ledge and jump off as soon as possible than to straighter line so that you get the right position or angle to jump up there without having to grab the ledge. And even then, it's a 50-50 anyways, so I find it to be just better to grab the ledge anyways. But who knows? Maybe it is optimal and I'm just not realizing it. But anyways, I kind of tried to go for it there, but I didn't have the right position, so I grabbed the ledge. Basically, whenever you grab the ledge, you want to jump off it as soon as possible. So here, you'll see him grab it, and that's when you hit the jump button to jump up and jump onto the platform. Right, another zip line down. And here, you want to basically, whenever you see the A button pop up here, right there, let's see it again. Like that. You want to hit it before the cutscene triggers, because there's a cutscene trigger right there to tell you, hey, this is a balance beam. You can walk on it. And well, what that will do is it'll put you on the balance beam during the cutscene, and then after the cutscene, you'll be on the balance beam, so you don't have to get on the balance beam after the cutscene. That saves a bit of time. Believe it or not, I actually found a cutscene skip for that. And it doesn't do a damn thing. So basically, what I found was you could go onto this bottom platform right here and then jump onto the balance beam in a certain way where you'd skip the cutscene. But then, as we're going to see later, there's a little mini game. Or, whoops. I'll just wait for this to play out. There's a mini game right here where this arrow is that doesn't trigger if you skip the cutscene. And I was so mad when I found that. I was like, dude, really? I found a cutscene skip, and this thing doesn't trigger when you skip the cutscene. I was so mad. But oh well. Here, you're basically just repeating the button patterns Nothing too hard, although do realize that it could miss your inputs or it could skip your inputs if you're going too fast. So do be careful about that. First it's 3 buttons, then it's 4 buttons. Nothing too hard, really. Then you want to skip the cutscene, and right here you want to fall down, so that way we respawn. It's basically kind of like a death orb, but we respawn right here. That's where we want to go. As you see, we have these platforms moving. We want to get up here. Unfortunately, you kind of always have a bad cycle, so you have to wait a bit for the platforms, but oh well. Then you get up to the minigame, you skip the cutscene. Repeat the button patterns. It's the same exact minigame we just did. And then after that, we're basically done with Alex's part. And then those rivets that we didn't collect, you know, we're going to use those to patch up our runway. So here you basically want to spin to the right position. I jumped for whatever reason, I guess because I was mashing A. And you want to head bash these rivets. They normally, you normally home in on them, but sometimes it can be awkward. Oh well. And then, basically, you're just trying to mash them in. Sometimes, if it doesn't home in on them, you just have to or manually move him. Here, you can basically just get in the corner, at a certain point in the corner. I messed it up there, but basically you can get in the corner like that, and do them quickly. And that's the rivet pounding. Here, you're wanting to aim more at these little targets here. It can be decently difficult on your first attempt, but once you get down, you get down. So, you have 2 phases to this. One where, if you hit a bullseye, you get extra money. I used to think that was slower, but I don't think it really matters whether or not you hit a bullseye. It just matters if you hit the target. If you miss the target, then you're wasting time. So, I've had times where I missed the targets. It's not going to be perfect. But, oh well. And then in the second phase here, the targets are moving left to right. So you have to adjust for that. You have to pretty much predict where exactly they're going to be. They stop at one point and then they slow down, stop, and then go back the other way. And then they do the same thing on the other side. Slow down, stop, go the other way. Basically, I overshoot that one, yeah. So I missed it there even. And then I hit it the next time, so... Oh, it didn't waste too much time. So here we're back to Gloria again, and this time we're picking up peppers to pull these vines to the plane. Basically, we need to use the peppers to go fast enough and strongly enough to be able to reach the plane with the vines. And you need to follow the trail that they leave, as you see. So first you start off with 5, then you get 4, then you get 3. It's supposed to get more difficult, but basically, when you get the last one, just go a straight line, and eventually you'll make it. And then once you get a little circle there, you need to mash the A button. When you mash it up, when you get it enough times, it just stops it right there, as you see. Then you get 3. Looks like we lost him. Oh well. So here we have another cutscene that we gotta skip that was like the first cutscene that we had to skip, where we started the story and then immediately had to skip. It's stuff that uses clips from the movie, basically. You gotta skip that as soon as possible. now we're in Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Africa is the first real level of the run. It's the first level where we have actual skips in it. So basically, we're gonna jump through here, get into this cutscene, skip it. Whenever one of these scorpions is in your way, you want to roar at them. Of course, they honestly don't get in the way all that much. That one actually kind of boosted me up, so I kind of got a little bit of speed from that guy. So thank you, Mr. Scorpion. I appreciate it. Once again, on this rock, there's a trigger for a cutscene. And now we're back to Melbourne. We gotta flick these durians at the scorpions. Somewhat easy. If you're lucky, they'll all be in a clutter, and you'll be able to get them all with one shot, but I've never gotten that in a speedrun before, so I've had to do it at least 2 times, if not 3 or 4, or even 5 times. It sucks. There, I think it was 2 times? Yeah, 2 times. So that was really good. Again, 1 is perfect, pretty much, but they all have to be in a clutter. So yeah, that's another point of RNG for this run, is those scorpions and their positioning. And here's the first skip of the run. So basically, we're going to skip a cutscene here by jumping to this platform over here. I tend to not get that first try, but I got that first try that time, so that's good. At least I didn't mess that up. Here we're going to just skip this platform right here and go straight to this platform by jumping in the right way. There, I didn't even have to grab the ledge. If you're beginning this game, I recommend aiming for the ledge, because you can grab the ledge there, and that's a more safe option. But if you don't grab the ledge, then if you don't grab the ledge but you make it, then that's obviously fantastic as well. So, anyways, now for the main skip here. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump at a certain point off of this vine to grab this ledge right here. This skip can be pretty difficult. In fact, there's actually an easier alternative for beginners of the run. So that way, if you're starting to run this game, you don't have to worry about getting this trick. And I'll talk about it later. But anyways, so first you can see I jump off at a certain point. I don't think I make this one. Yeah. I think I make it second try though. It may be RNG based, whether or not you get a certain hop off the vine. Because sometimes Alex actually gets more of a jump off the vine. And I don't know why they made that thing, but they did. So you gotta kind of react with that as well. But anyways, I think I get a second try here. Yeah. So there you go. Second try. I got it. But for beginners, if you notice this little platform right here, what you can do is, if you're a beginner, you can ride down a bit longer and then jump to reach this platform right here. And that is way easier and also more safe for a beginner, because it still saves time to land on this thing. Because otherwise you have to go around like this, go up like this, if you go all the way down. So, but obviously this one saves even more time because you're not having to go like this, you know, you're able to just immediately start going that way. But anyways, so you get either this one or the beginner one, and then you hop across the platforms here. Eventually you reach over here, roar, so that way this bird will go right, and then you'll hop on the balance speed right there. If your roar happens to miss, the roars lasts a decently long time, so you can still hop on the balance speed and they'll more likely disappear. But anyways, here we're kind of getting into another skip. This one is not really a big skip, it just skips this little bit right here. Obviously walking across the balance speed is kind of slow, so if you could skip it, that'd be fantastic. As you see, I don't really get a good jump at the very tip of the platform here. Instead, I just kind of jump as soon as I felt like it. But if you do it in a certain way, and even if you miss the ledge grab, you still can respawn on this platform. As you see, we still skipped the back portion. So now we just hop onto this platform, jump on this balance beam, and then we just basically I roar at all these vultures. You don't absolutely have to do that, but basically you jump onto that little area right there. And then you go ahead and start the Melman ball rolling part. So, there's a lot to talk about in this part, because it's very momentum based, and I have to talk a lot about the things I do and what exactly I do with my angles. So first you obviously skip the cutscene, and you hold down on the control stick. You hold down so that way he starts moving down as soon as possible, because otherwise you're probably either holding neutral or even holding up, and he's going to go down slower. So basically you want to hold down so that he starts going down as soon as possible. You want to hug the wall here so that way it'll launch you in this direction eventually, because of the little, I'll show you the little corner there. You see these little corner things here. This corner will launch you this way. This corner will launch you that way. I kind of aim myself a bit differently so that way I can hit this little part of this rocket a certain way. As you see, it's launching me this way, so that way I can start holding left faster and go against this wall, so that way I can rise up this thing. I enter this corner right here, so that way I can hold up, start going up as soon as possible, and then just go into this path right here. Very momentum based. Once you learn how to do it well, it's going to be very easy to get through that first part. The second part, you need to be careful, because if you're holding down and not turning fast enough, you will fall off. And so you need to be careful about how you do this. But yeah, obviously, this section is also not too bad. Especially, this is another section that I feel like you need to play casually before you're like, okay, I can start doing this as a speedrun. Because if you're not careful, you're going to throw yourself off the cliff, basically. But anyways, you make it to the end of that section. And if you fall off, it spawns you back at the very top of the path. Not at the very beginning of the path, including that beginning section. It only spawns you at the beginning of the thin path. But anyways, so when we roll down the path, we have these little extra boulders here and these vents. We gotta close these vents with the other boulder. And this section can make it very awkward. I kind of went at that with bad speed. But you push in fast enough or enough times and it will go into the vent. And then it will open that up. And then you go ahead and ride up the other vent that just opened up to the next level, and as you see, there are 3 more boulders. So basically, you just gotta do what you just did 3 more times. What I do is I kind of do it in this order, where I use the little slope right here to help me gain speed to launch this one in. I kind of messed up my angle there, so I had to go back and try it again. I went ahead and got some speed before I went up the slope, so that way I would gain even more speed after I left the slope. And I kind of got a weird angle there, I guess because my camera angle was screwed up, so not very optimal at all there. But this next one goes in pretty quickly if you just use the slope and hit it in a certain way. It'll go in with one push, and it most of the time won't tear on the other side. Since if you push, unless you push it in too fast, which can happen, so just make sure that it went in, otherwise you need to go back and push it. If you grab this coin, if you're fast enough where you can go up this and grab that little coin right here, you can basically immediately go to the left and one cycle it, and then just push that in. It may take 1 or 2 pushes, I swear. I don't know how the other runners got 1 push when I only get 2, but oh well. Anyways, now we've pushed all the boulders in, so now we just ride this sea vent up, and that's it. Now, unfortunately, my voice is starting to go away, and I need to save my voice for a speech next week, as well as for practicing for that speech. So, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go ahead and end off here. However, That doesn't mean that I'm done with the tutorial yet. I'm gonna finish up this tutorial, and hopefully the next time we do it, we'll get more people to watch us. I might finish it up tomorrow, but it all depends. But I want to still save my voice anyways, so let's go ahead and end the stream here for now. Thank you for tuning in, if you did. So, I appreciate it. But we're going to go ahead and end the stream here. So, see you guys later.